Community leaders, surprised by the number of military weapons in use statewide, said that they were upset by the lack of public discussion on what they called the apparent militarization of local police. Now, I've been telling you they're slowly developing a police state. Have you noticed it? Yeah. Now you get the TSA, you get Homeland Security, you already had the FBI, you already had the state police, you already had local police, you had sheriffs, you had county, law enforcement. Law enforcement's growing, the police state is growing. You now watch what you say when you're in the airport line because you're afraid, huh? They've even been able to give you fear. How do they do that? Is it a conditioning response thing? So anyway, even though the department had already acquired 200 rifles, this is Boston because Menino turned around and said, well, I'm holding off on that. They don't need automatic weapons, or not until they get training. So I got to ask you, is that what you're looking forward to when you go to Boston? Is seeing police with automatic weapons because you fear terrorism? Meanwhile, the people can't have weapons to defend themselves. This is Massachusetts, some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Okay? And at the same time, did you remember the other show where they've now put a House resolution up, 2401, I believe, and that is where if you're on the no-fly list, we'll go back a little bit in time, where you haven't been convicted of any crime. You haven't seen the evidence. You don't know how you got on the no-fly list. Holocaust survivors, time to tune in, okay? You are now told that you can't buy a firearm because you, as Rahm Emanuel, the dual citizen, not even an American, would say you could be possibly a terrorist. Is that, what happened to this? What happened to the men who would stand up and fight to defend this? You out there. So, you could be possibly terrorists out there. At least, you know that you got on a no-fly list. And by the way, does anybody know how to get off? How do you get off that list? I hear now what they'll do is they'll give you a new hemispherical pass so you can go through the airport once you get yourself off the no-fly list. So now the no-fly list is becoming the no-buy list. How long, people, does it become the no-job list? How about the no-benefits list? Because you could be, might be, possibly, remember that's Rahm Emanuel, a terrorist. He's your White House chief of staff. So anyway, I just wanted you to notice a couple things, and that was preparing a police state, even here in Boston and in the Commonwealth communities. Some other interesting news. Okay, that was it. We also had recently the Kennedy Serve America Act just got passed. I thought that was interesting for you, and I'm going to probably speed things up as we get through this part, but why it's important is, remember the Nazis, remember fascism, remember the communists and stuff? Didn't they also have that thing, hey, did you ever see the movie The Wave? I guess in Palo Alto, California, in 1967, a high school teacher was asked a question by a student. How is it that the Germans could have embraced Nazism and all the atrocities that they did? How did the people who were good people, or we thought were good people before, how did they do it? Well, I will tell you that you have to remember the Weimar Republic and hyperinflation. Oh, that's right, they had economic problems set up by banksters, just like we're going through now. But the important thing was this Serve America Act. I want you to take a look, go out from the library, go online, and find Triumph of the Will. Triumph of the Will was a promotional movie that Hitler had made. And what did it show? It showed people doing jumping jacks. It showed them shoveling ditches, building bridges, clearing roads, cleaning up yards, doing all the wonderful things for Germany, and how this discipline and community really was good. This is good. This is good for Germany. This is good. And well, now what do we have? We have City Year, we have AmeriCorps, we have Service Corp, and we have the new Kennedy Serve America Act thing. That is good, huh? This is good. We're going to do good things. So let me ask you, government programs. The income tax started off at like 1%, and is your income tax now 1%? You viewers, you listeners in America? I think it's more like 15 to 50, because the graduated income tax, that's right. That's what Stalin wanted, one of the planks of communism. But anyway, the interesting thing was this Serve America thing. It's going to be 2 weeks. So what, you can't get out of junior high unless you serve 2 weeks? You can't get your high school diploma until you serve 2 weeks? You can't get those college loans until you serve 2 weeks? The interesting thing is, it's going to start as 2 weeks. When have you known a government program to go down, to get smaller, to be reduced? They may change names and go into new departments, but they usually don't get smaller, huh? Whether it's taxes, now you have to serve the state. I believe our founding fathers, their premise was the state's there to serve the people. It's interesting, if you watched old television, for you black and white viewers, there was a show called One Item 12. And on the door of the Los Angeles Police Department cars, it used to say, to serve and protect. And then by the end of the series, the Los Angeles Police Department changed their motto to protect and serve. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that how this terrorism thing's being played for us? So anyway, I'm going to now blow through things. So I told you, find the movie called Triumph of the Will. Okay? This is how the Germans did it. Okay? And also find the movie called The Wave. They're short. The Wave was made for TV. I thought it was extremely interesting. Once again, just to give you a brief background so you know about The Wave, in 1967, once again, a Palo Alto high school teacher was asked by a student, how could this happen? So he thought he'd do a little experiment. And what happened was the experiment got out of hand. And what he did, well, you should see. Maybe we even next show will include a clip of The Wave for you. But tell me if it's not this reoccurring history thing from not learning. But how about this one? Here's one for you. Bush on this hand equals Obama on this hand. Same. Or should I say Obama equals Bush? You all think there's change. Did Obama stop torture? Did Obama send all the detainees home? I mean, after 7 years, are you a detainee? All right, why don't we just take your children away from you for 7 years and we'll say we detain them. We'll move them to another country. We'll torture them because they're a detainee. This is after we invaded their country. They did not attack us. There was no Iraqi attack. But they're going to need another war once they crash this, next bubble. You know, oh, war's good. At least that's what the Rand Corporation says. But who reads do you read what the Rand Corporation says? So anyway, it's kind of funny because what they got in Germany, the Nazism, you know, which was a form of fascism where the government took over the businesses, didn't the government, aren't you a 60% shareholder in GM now? Aren't you taking over the banks? Do you see us, them? Do you see do you see it? So anyway, I'll give you a couple. How about embedded journalists? You know, the first one who did that was Hitler. Hey, we had embedded journalists, didn't we, during the war things? Okay, unloading the dead troops at night. Hey, Hitler was the first one to unload Do you have any pictures of the dead getting off airplanes in America? No, they do it at night. Okay, control the media and the press. Boy, what's it, 6 corporations owned by globalist bankers? Oh, gee, okay. Discipline, community, hey, AmeriCorps, Service Corps, the Kennedy service thing. Don't think I'm kidding. Centralizing of control. Oh my God, have you seen enough of it? Okay, government running industry. Well, we went over that. Us, then, now, then. Okay, no fly, no buy, told you about all that. Here's what I want you to do. Here's some good news. Here's what I want you to consider anyway. Wake up your neighbors. Wake them up. Tell them something's wrong. We got to start getting up and doing stuff. We got to fight for our rights for our children, not just for us and for our children's children, okay? Call your representatives. Tell them you're not going to stand for that. Support Ron Paul's what? Audit the Federal Reserve Act, okay? They're taking you down economically, and somebody's in Congress. They already got 189 co-sponsors. You can help. Get Barney the Lion Kitty Toucher to back the bill, okay? So anyway, say no to fear, okay? Say no to it. Don't be afraid. Don't run around being afraid. Get away from that blue boob tube conditioning you, okay? Resist tyranny, okay? And fight for your freedom. And with that, I'm going to close you with the one I opened with, which I liked a lot, and that was the thought of the day. History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good ones. Fight on. Save this republic. My name's Daniel Hapney. Thanks for watching The Real Story.
Normal office fires is what's supposed to have brought these buildings down, along with jet plane impacts. But jet fuel and office fires don't produce molten iron or molten steel.